Hello, everybody. Well, given that the Leaf season has now ended, of course, we are now going to talk about what went wrong. This video's topic is I'm going to be kind of going over what went wrong with the 2014 to 2017 rebuild, and I will be talking about this topic and saying the Toronto Maple Leafs. One thing that went right, I feel like one thing was right was the regular season pass. I think what went wrong with this, I feel like now it's just what went wrong with this regular season set was the rebuild, was the big rebuild, was the Toronto Maple, I think what went wrong with what went wrong with this rebuild, I think it was just too rushed. I think it was just too rushed, too soon, it ended way too soon, and I felt like you should have given it time for people to develop, for development, and for the players to be developed. And because it was a rush rebuild, it was stuck where it was due to it. I don't blame. I don't think I blame them, and I want to say this with the stat to you guys that the Leafs have now lost 9 out of 10 Game 7s since 2003, and it goes all the way back to 2003. So not even the Phil Castle era, not even this era. You have to go all the way back to the back end of the Matt Sundin era. And it's been really after that 2002 run where Italy team has just been like every year it's just been happening. Like at some point you have to say like how safe is at this point I have to think that this is a complete disaster, a complete failure on all levels, and I have to say this. There will be major changes, and I said in my Game 5 video, there will be major changes, and this is probably going to be it. And I think I'm going to be calling this video titled The End of an Era and What Went Wrong with the. So in 2014, Brendan Shanahan came in. They started this whole rebuild thing happened for 2015 and 2016 and 2017. 2017 was the first year I'm going to tell you guys the timeline. 2017, the Toronto Maple Leafs lost to the Washington Capitals in 6 games in the first round. Following year, 2018, which is actually 2017, I was at 3-8. First of all, 2017, they lost in 7 games to the Boston Bruins. I was at 3-9, starting at Pine Ridge. And the following year after that, 2019, the Leafs lost again to Boston in Game 7. 7. Game 7. And that was over a Stanley Cup bet. And I was in my second year at Pine Ridge in grade 10. And this was a Stanley Cup bet. And this was over the Stanley Cup bet. It said if the Leafs lose to the Boston Bruins, I would join the SEC team. You might have said that year ago. Following year, 2019-20, and this was actually a really bad year. But this was all three of these 3 years were Babcock. In 2019-20, they had a 6-game losing streak. Babcock was fired. Babcock got fired. Sheldon Keefe came in. We had the COVID stoppage, and then we came out. We lost to Columbus in 5 games in the qualifying round. That was 2020 out of August. In 2021, I remember this all too well. They were probably 3-1 series deficit to the Montreal Canadiens and lost in 7 games. In 2020, they lost in 5 games to Columbus. And now I'm going to say this. In 2022, they lost to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Our next was 2020. So this was my 3-11. 2021 3-12. And then 2022, my 5th year with Pine Ridge, they lost to Tampa Bay in 7 games. And then in 2023, they beat Tampa in 6 games, advancing to the second round for the first time since 2004. And then lost to Florida in 5 games. And it was the first time they lost in Game 5 in a 7-game series since 1999. That's the very big Seattle one here. 2024, last year, they lost in 7 games to the Boston Bruins. Bruins, David Pastrnak scored the overtime goal. And then tonight, this year, 2025, Carl played Ottawa in 7 games. Or in 6 games, I say this. Advancing to the second round and then lost to Florida in 7 games. So, it's fair to say that this whole rebuild thing was a shot, and they have now lost 9 out of 10 Game 7s since 2003. But ultimately, I will be sending this video off to friends. And I will talk to you guys sometime later, and I will talk to you guys at some point and say thank you. Alright, bye-bye everybody.